Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a level 60 build for Trouble and VEX in Borderlands 4. Now, there's a new class mod here which opens up these rifts that you can see, which are actually pretty interesting because they're going to be dealing a bit of damage over time. And you can see here we can take out bosses pretty quickly, but that's mostly thanks to our gear. Unfortunately, there's no builds for VEX and Trouble that are very, very good, and they didn't buff them with the newest update. But there is this new class mod. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks. I'll be showing you one that's actually very good for this build. But basically, when we use our actions or our command skills, we open up the Blood Rift, which we can have 2 at a time, and they're going to deal damage based on our current weapon. It's not a whole lot, but it's something. But this build was highly requested, and it is still a very good one if you want to play through the game, but at level 60, it does have less damage output than obviously her very powerful green skill tree, but we'll be taking you through this entire build here. Now, we do have a pretty solid option here at the start with the Enhancement giving us bonus kinetic damage when our action skill is active, and this is something that we're going to be using pretty decently often, so getting that bonus damage is nice because it takes all of our gun damage increases like the Grave Implements, which we'll be taking later on. After this, it's best to then continue with Grave Sustenance. Now, this is a kill skill that restores a portion of our missing action skill duration. We're later then going to grab the Mortal Terror, which gives us kill skill activation on critical hits. So we can just crit enemies and get this activated. It's pretty nuts. And after this, Mourning is really good, giving our kill skills increased effectiveness. This ends up being pretty powerful compared to the Vorpal Fiends there, which just gives us increased critical hit damage for us and our minion, but this is better. We're then going to make our way over to the right-hand section of the skill tree. Now, there's the Shocking Attunement. If you like to use shock-based weapons, this will give you an increased gun damage and movement speed, which is really nice. However, if we go with Grave Current, this is the kill skill that gives us bonus shock damage on our minion, 40%. That's honestly pretty solid because you need any help that the cat can get. After this, Infusion's pretty strong. So when VEX uses a Repkit, her and her minions gain bonus damage with guns and melee damage for a duration. The bonus damage is based on our current attunement. 40% for 15 seconds. It's pretty solid considering the triple bypass exists. And there's also Grave Thirst, which I really like as a kill skill that we can get upwards of 6 stacks. And with the class mod here, we got 10% lifesteal per stack, 6 stacks, it's 60% lifesteal. You basically don't go down at that point, and our minion can get some pretty high ones. This is going to give us more damage output. The Grave Thirst is going to give us more survivability. I like to have a bit of a happy medium and go with a bit of both, and we'll take the points of infusion. We can get this from our class mod. Now, for our augments and our capstone, unsealed is going to be our capstone. This lets us mark the target, and preferably, obviously, the boss. You don't get to control who it targets, but it's going to move around. This gives 50% extra gun damage against that target. It also, whenever you take out a target that is marked, you get unsealed on the kitty here, which gives us health regeneration per stack 1%. You get upwards of 3 stacks, and it's a kill skill, so we can get this upwards of 6 stacks, kind of funny. And also gives damage dealt 15% per stack, and the stacks will last for 12 seconds. So this benefits as we go to the green skill tree to further round this out. Now, you can take a point in guns and needles, or you can go with the Grave Sights here. This is a kill skill, giving us increased critical hit damage and gun handling here, and this critical hit damage, it's 3 stacks that turns to 6 in a moment. Same thing with Grave Implements, 20% extra gun damage for every time that we take out an enemy, and 3 stacks, which is now 6 stacks of Grave Power. So that increases our kill skills max stacks by 3, which is pretty insane. We're then going to put the last 2 points here for this level into Bloodletter. You can even go all 5 points because Bleed is still very powerful on critical hits with guns and skills. You can apply Bleed, which is really nice. Now we're going to go with Keen Mind. Skill damage gains critical hit. You can go with this one, actually, I should mention. This is going to give us our, basically, Trouble can crit. There's also Drink Full, and I actually slightly prefer Drink Full for the gun damage. Or you get more fire rate from this, which means you can put out more damage. Keen Mind is a good choice too, but I just found that the Drink Full is a little bit better. We want to get down to the Mortal Terror though. This is just really good. Chance to activate kill skills when critically hitting enemies. 5% chance, but if you get a fast fire rate on like a shotgun, that can be pretty nuts. And Strike Me Down can be nice. For a single point, you can get that here, which is pretty useful. But I also like to take the Ars Arcana. So Ars Arcana is going to give us increased skill damage. And why this is so good is skill damage actually counts for Trouble's damage. And this is one of the few ways that we can boost it up. You could also put 1 point into the Guns and Needles here. I accidentally put a point into Grave Thirst. So we can max this out, and with our last point, put it into Guns and Needles for that. It's a kill skill that gets activated on Mortal Terror, and what's great about that is that gives us our Repkit, which we can then use again to use Infusion to give ourselves that bonus damage, which lasts for 15 seconds. So this all comes together full circle. Now, VEX does have the configuration skill tree, and I've been grinding this out. I've tried every possible role. It sucks. It just sucks. I did a video where I broke down all the new class mods. Some of them are really good. VEX got the short end of the sticks. However, she does have the Teen Witch class mod, which is insanely powerful. And this one I actually got 70% extra skill damage, which is kind of funny. It comes with Life Steal built in. And the best part about this is Life Steal applies to our overshield so that we can power ourselves up. And this powers the Watch for Dinner. These work together very well because with the Watch for Dinner, with the amp roll, you can drain 35% of your shields and get 150% extra gun damage. Since we're getting Life Steal, this actually fuels itself so you can get that boost to the damage and then replenish your shield with the Life Steal that we do have. And with the Teen Witch, you can get skill rolls. I would prefer to have as many points in the Grave Thirst as possible. It's 6, the kill skill that goes up to 6 stacks. There's also the Corporeal here, which will give you Overshield. And when we have Overshield, the minions gain increased damage dealt by 36%, or 18%, and our duration is increased by 36%. It's pretty strong. And we can also get rolls into the Conjunction there, which will give us increased gun damage and damage reduction. But as mentioned, best shield is still going to be Watch for Dinner because it's just 25% bonus shock damage is crazy, and it also can come with the rolls that you saw there. There is the Protean cell as well. I like the Super Soldier because it comes with ammo regeneration, and there's a few different rolls that are great. If you got Fireworks, this is the best for mobbing, and the Timekeeper's new shield could be kind of cool if you wanted to use the other shield because then you can go all in on Life Shield, and you don't have to worry about your Life Steal going to shields, so that can be nice too. But Watch for Dinner, most damage. We also like to go with a few different enhancements here. I'm a big fan of the Stud Finder here, especially with the new Shalashaska weapon. This can just cheese pretty much any boss, especially if you get the increased damage radius on the Torg weapons there, because that's going to make it so that all the extra ricochets that you get will hit the same enemy that you shot it at, and it scales the damage up an insane amount. There's also the increased ricochets on the Jacob's Bounce Pass, so you're looking forward to Bounce Pass increasing ricochets by 1. That one's pretty nice. And it'd be probably the one that I prefer using if you don't have this one here. And for our Ordnance, now you can use Ordnances on this build, and even the new Icar or Heimdall are pretty useful, but the critical hit knife, because we want to activate our critical skills so that we get our, so we can boost up all the kill skills, because that's kind of a necessity for this build. But if you're good at aiming for the head, you could go with other options. We just want to have those to activate. And for our Repkit, Leech for the 30% life steal is pretty fun on a Repkit like the triple bypass because we're getting a huge amount of damage. We're getting 10 seconds of 30% life steal, then we're getting 40% bonus damage for 15 seconds. It becomes pretty insane. There's also the Kill Spring, which is an interesting one as well, and you can get that with Leech too. Now for our Firmware, 3 high caliber would be best, and then 2 points Deadeye. Piercing bullets is really nice because you can get a lot of ricochets off that way, and that's just typically the best way to go about it, but Deadeye 3 and high caliber 2 also works great. Now for our weapons, we're going to recommend some weapons from the base game as well as some of the new weapons from the DLC. The Crazed Earl is really fun and powerful as a shotgun with Jacobs and Ripper parts. You can also go with the Flash Cyclone. Big fan of the Shalashaska as well, especially if you get the shotgun loader, and Jacobs will make it so that it chains around. And then the Torg Impact is the most important role there. Now, we also got the Stray. The Stray is just so good, automatically aiming on targets, and it's just a straightforward, easy gun to use. There's a new Falker weapon, which is pretty fun to use. The Complex Root, especially if you get the underbarrel, which makes it so that it homes in on targets, is fun. I like the Rooker, but this is best on Cash now. He's a crazy setup for that. There's also weapons like the Bonnie and Clyde, which are, I'm not sure it's popping up properly. Bonnie and Clyde's insane. It got a really big buff. Shoot a shotgun at a target, swap to the assault rifle, and shoot it at the boss. It'll take him out quickly. And there's classics like TK's Wave, which are quite strong. Even the Plasma Coil works all right here. The Hot Slugger, some people really enjoy that weapon. I used to like it at launch. It's still a decent one. The Convergence works well, and the BOD, obviously doing BOD things, especially if you get the ceramic version. Although it's not as strong on this build as a green skill tree build. Now, finally, for our specializations. Now with caffeine, so we get our action skill back quicker by using our Repkit, which we're using often because we get it back on kill, and we boost our damage with it. Riddle You This adds 50% gun damage, which is really nice. The best defense will give you 30% damage dealt, and I'm a Gun will add damage to our action skill, which is Trouble, but you could take off that and put on Honed Mind there alongside the I'm a Gun to further boost up Trouble's damage to as high as possible. So activating Trouble is nice because you can get that infinite damage out. Here's the Shalashaska. This weapon is going to be the best in slot. You can see here, even with Trouble set up, we can still delete bosses really quickly. This is the gun, especially if you have to fire it and reload it 5 times manually to get the ricochets up. Throw the critical hit knife at it, and you're just going to delete anything. And here is the Crazed Earl. So we do get that bonus kinetic damage there whenever Trouble is activated, which is pretty solid here. And you can see the bleed damage is nuts. So yeah, this is honestly not that bad of power level. And with the Bonnie and Clyde, you got to take out a target first and then swap it over to the assault rifle version. And you can see, well, the damage isn't like super fantastic there, but it does boost up the damage quite a bit. And especially with Trouble activated, it can boost it a little bit further. One thing about the Bonnie and Clyde though is you want to be swapping it whenever you get kills to the shotgun and then backing over to the assault rifle version. Here's the stray rifle. Unfortunately, Trouble went down there, but whenever we activate Trouble, they come back, so that's not to worry there. We can then just go ahead. Critical hit knife is just super powerful on this. Holy jeez. There we go. So yeah, that is one of the strongest builds that you can possibly do for Trouble in Borderlands 4. Yes, we're using the green skill tree, but that's just because Trouble skills are not super powerful. Let's hope that that Gearbox ends up buffing Trouble, because I do think that they need it, as well as Amon. There's a few characters in this game that are just a little bit lackluster. I was disappointed to see the new class mod was not that great on this setup, unfortunately, even though it looked like it could have been a solid one for Trouble and VEX. It just doesn't do anything special here, and you're going to see now we're actually going to melt down this boss here a little bit quicker, because we actually have the damage matched up here. But yeah, that's Trouble in Borderlands 4. Hopefully we'll see some updates in the future, but hit that subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Use that Shalasha Scout weapon if you want to have that insane damage that I showed there. It's crazy.